everybody. September's all wrapped up into a nice tight little package, but the question is, it's been bagged and tagged. What did it turn out to be? Was it a normal September, or did it go down? Or did it go up? Or did it go down? The media is saying one thing. Well, actually, what's kind of funny is I had a great conversation yesterday with a new client that was interviewing with us and whatnot, and we were talking numbers, and actually they were talking numbers, and I was listening, and then I said, "Hang on a second, are you talking about July?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, those are the numbers that just came out." I laughed. I said, "Well, you understand this is October." So here's the point. You need to subscribe. Sign up for the channel. Look, it's free. You get notified. Hit the little bell. Let us know what questions you have. We've been answering great questions like the one that we'll be going over as far as market and being relevant. This is real time. We're not talking about July numbers, August numbers. For heaven's sakes, it's October. So let's be relevant. And this allows you to make the best business decision because we go through a lot of, well, the metrics of what has happened, what traditionally happens, what's going to happen, both with real estate and with the mortgage interest rates, which make, tens of thousands of business decision for you and your family. So subscribe, hit the like button, that way Facebook likes us and more people get to see the really good information. So with that, let's get on with the show really quick. It's October. And remember, we have to remove 2020 as far as seasonality out of the picture because, well, technically we were supposed to be at home. Okay, well, many of us weren't because we had a record-setting year in 2020. 2021 is no different. However, the biggest difference, and this is what's super important, is as predicted, as we saw the seasonality of real estate come back. Okay, well, that's not abnormal. We fully expected it. Okay, so we saw the slowdown late May, mid-May, started to see that slowdown. Poof, it picked back up again post July 4th, which is totally normal. Then in mid to late September or August, it started to slow down. And poof, about mid to late September, it picked back up. A lot of that, vacations, schools, the different elements of people's planning as those seasons change. Totally normal. If I go back 15 years, you will see that cycle every single year. As an example, some people say, "George, is it a good time to sell my house?" Yes, it is. Is it a good time to buy a house? Yes, it is. Especially between now and December 15th. Why? Because historically, seasonally, from the end of September till about mid-December, okay, post-Thanksgiving, we have another good market cycle. It is normal, okay? Then we have our seasonal slowdown. So January and February normally are our worst months, okay? If I go back and we look at it, 15 years, you'll see the normal sales cycle right there. January, February, always slow. Even last year, slow. Why? Because that is what happens. That's our normal seasonal market, and it is to be expected. However, last year we did push a little bit harder in December all the way through December, which has only happened a few times. Well, not a few times, but 2017, 2019 really wasn't. 2018 really wasn't. It was okay, but 2017 was definitely a kicker. I think that was a record setter. And then a few years, back, from there, and it is part of a normal cycle. But historically, about mid-December, things really slow down for the holidays, and it will stay slow until the end of February. And then, boop, back in March, it picks back up until, you guessed it, back to about May 15th when students start getting out of school. Buying a home is no longer top priority. It becomes, third, fourth fiddle, not second fiddle. So anyway, for all those musicians. But it is a normal cycle. So did September end up being still a really great September, even though we saw the normal slowdown, even though we saw market times increase, even though we saw inventory bump up just a little bit. Yes, it was a great month, all things considered. Because remember, 2020 was a record setter, right? So let's get into this. All right, let's go in reverse. Year over year, we were up 17%. That's a little over 10,000 homes, which is a big deal. When we come over here, pended and new on market, remember, these two are following each other because our inventory is so low. We have 7 to 10 days of inventory, whereas a healthy market is 4 to 6 months. What does that mean? That means is if I have this bucket, and I call this bucket the Northwest MLS, and this is where all the agents will put their listings in this bucket. And if I put a lid on it, the amount of inventory I should have in here should be 4 to 6 months for a balanced market, for a healthy, balanced market. Now, we haven't seen that type of inventory since probably 2012, 11, 12. So I'm not sure if this is becoming our new norm where we have limited inventory, where we will stay below 2 months of inventory because we have been below 2 months of inventory for a number of years. If that is the case, minus our occasional boop, we bop over, but then we bring it back down. If that is the case, we're going to start seeing some, different numbers, right? So when we come up here, yes, active inventory is up 1.9%. But again, new and pended are following each other because there is so few that when we see a bump in new homes on market, we see a bump in pended. When we see a drop in new on market, we see a drop in pended because the two are going hand in hand because there's so few homes available. As an example, when we come over here, we say, oh my gosh, the month of September, year over year, meaning the month of September 2020 versus 2021, okay? It said our sales were down 3%. And some people say, George, now you just said September was a great freaking market. What happened? Hang on a second. It's only 278 homes across the Northwest MLS, which for some of you, if you don't know how big of an area that is, that's from the Canadian border basically, all the way down to the Tri-Cities, including over in Kitsap, including over in eastern Washington as far as Wenatchee and Chelan, Spokane excluded. But that's a massive area, massive. And only 278 homes different year over year. Now remember, 2020 was a record setter. Well, guess what? So was this September because we saw the normal slowdown and we still saw a lot of homes going off market. When we take a look at the 7-day running average, new on market, again, this Friday we actually saw a good bump because it's only been in the between 780 to 990-ish, 980-ish each day as I look at this. So our 7-day running average, because Friday we had a huge bump on Friday, 1,276. But we had 2,045 go off market and 1,919 that actually sold. So we're still drawing down the inventory. Each and every week, we're pulling more off market. There's less available than what there is coming on market to replenish it. So historically, we should be running at probably about between 18,000 and 22,000 homes available at any one time. And right now, I think we're at like 6,000 normally. What are we at today? Yeah, 6,554. That's 1/3, to 1/4 of the inventory that we normally have available for buyers. I mean, it is slim pickings out there. I mean, slim. So, is our market doing well? Absolutely. We are still kicking it. And even though it's only the 2nd, it's October 2nd. Yeah, it's only October 2nd. Our numbers here are starting to increase. Why? Because we were up 9.5%, which means that those are going to be October closings that we are going to see that is going to affect what we are seeing month over month, especially when we kick into November. All right? Now, understand, drivers of this is going to be the mortgage rates. Now, many of you remember we talked about mortgage-backed securities. Mortgage-backed securities are something you're going to want to watch because the feds are, and they've already said it, and they've already been kind of hinting for a while, and the market, meaning that the investors, not us investors, but the big investors, industrial investors, are listening, and they're trying to hedge part of that inflation. Thankfully, the $1 trillion sink the United States thing appeared to have gone away, I hope, forever. But here's the thing, inflation, the way they're going to moderate that is also by raising rates. So if they start pulling back on mortgage-backed securities, which they said they will in between now and November, we're going to start to see our mortgage rates start to hedge up. So even though right now what we're trending is going to be more flat, might head down just a tad bit as we get a little bit more confidence. Watch your 10-year Treasury, watch your bonds. The two are directly proportional to your mortgage rates because remember, mortgage rates for homes is based on, well, even multifamily, is based on residential multifamily, 4 units or less, like the stock market. Well, it is part of the stock market, okay? It is not created, it is not governed by the feds. So remember that. Your HELOCs, home equity line of credit, that's what a HELOC is. Your credit cards, your car loans, commercial business loans, things like that. What lenders borrow at versus what they lend at. That's all part of what the feds control. All right. So 3.125, no points. Okay. Non-owner occupied, 3.625. This might come down just a tad bit closer to 3. I don't know if it's going to actually hit, go below 3%. It might, but no, I'm not optimistic of it. At the very least, I see it staying relatively flat. I was chatting with Dan Golden this morning at Cornerstone Lending, and he was kind of mirroring the same conversation that it's really hard to predict right now because there's a lot of balls in the air right now, especially with the $1 trillion whatevers, and then of course the feds trying to make sure that they mitigate inflation. Okay. So there's a lot of things that are going in the unknown category, and so that's why watching this show every week, again, is of such massive value. All right. Oh, somebody asked me, when can we lock in our mortgage? After you have a signed purchase and sale agreement, at that point, you can then lock in a mortgage. You cannot lock in a mortgage rate before you have a signed purchase and sale agreement. Sorry. All right. So when we take a look at September month over month, our inventory is still low, okay? So we were, again, same month, year over year. So we were below last year by 8.4%. New on market was actually up 5.4%. Our pendants are up 5.2. And again, the actual month was just a little bit less. Not by much, just a nominal amount. The key things to be watching for, make sure that you understand the buyers are back. And if that is not a clear indication, the buyers are back. So if you're a seller out there, you need to be awake. If you're looking at selling your home, it is the time to consider it, okay? And you must and be aware of when that next seasonal slowdown is going to be, and that is going to be about mid-December. So plan for it. All right. Let's see here. Market, we just talked about that. Market will be good till about 12:15. Watch your mortgage-backed securities. Watch what the feds are doing because that's going to be, that will affect your 10-year Treasury and your bonds because as they slow down on buying the mortgage-backed securities, and if you want to know more about that, I'll have Marie post the other video when we talked about it in detail, or feel free to ask. We answer them within 30 minutes, except for on Sunday. All right. All things considered, we're kicking it. We're still kicking it. October is probably going to be another record setter. We've been coming down, since about August. This was at 19%. We've been bringing it back down over the year over year. I think October, November is going to bump that one back up again. We have the FOMO. I don't know where they get these acronyms. Fear of missing out. They'll go ahead, with interest rates and everything else. I expect a little bit more activity this October and November in anticipation that, the feds are going to start raising rates, or rates, I should say, will start going up because the feds are pulling back on mortgage-backed securities. That is a correction. Again, the feds have nothing to do with mortgage rates as far as they do not set it, okay? All right, that is a market trend. All right, if you have any questions, post it. Remember to subscribe. Hey, share the video. We love, love, love to hear what others have to say. Ask questions. We even answer a lot of questions for real estate agents, which is awesome. Love to share so that they sound more intelligent with their clients, well-informed, because then their clients get to make a better business decision, which makes our industry even better and stronger. Anyway, if you have any questions, ask, ring the bell, and then, of course, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. It's a little cloudy today, but man, is it beautiful with the leaves. The leaves are changing. The fall is definitely here, and there are some amazing colors out there. All right, you guys take care. Thanks.